What is algebra? That is a common question by people. Let me try to give you kind of a quick explanation of it. It's simplifying and solving a wide variety of equations and inequalities, as well as understanding their basic properties and graphs. That's my little quick summary of it. Now that might not make a lot of sense. Let me give you a picture and kind of describe some of the things. When I say simplify and solve a wide variety of equations and inequalities, well, here you have an equation. Okay, an inequality, by the way, has a greater than less than sign. But you're solving equations, you're simplifying equations, or these are called expressions. This here is an equation of a linear graph. So you have basically equations and inequalities that you are solving or simplifying in order to solve or in the process of solving. So it's just a whole variety though. Like this right here is called a logarithm. You have a whole lot of other kind of quadratics, cubics, all sorts of different kind of equations and inequalities to solve and simplify to get it done. And then you have basic properties to deal with. There might be properties involved. For instance, slope is a property, y-intercept dealing with a line. You have this thing called the quadratic formula you can use, tools you get. And there's just a whole bunch of properties to be learned, a whole bunch of different variations, and a lot of overlap within the subject of algebra of just different topics. Anyways, and then you have graphs. Graphs are basically pictures. This is a picture of, say, an equation. All right, this is called a parabola. You have an x, y axis. So you have pictures of your equations and your functions and your expressions. And I'm saying a whole bunch of algebraic words at you. Sorry. But you'll get the flavor of it. Again, the biggest thing is it's a wide variety of equations and inequalities, and then graphs to show it. And there's a whole bunch of rules that you have to kind of memorize, which people don't always like, and I'm sorry. Okay, now the question then is, why algebra? Why do I need to learn it? I think it's a beautiful subject, and here's why. You want to learn it to become a problem solver who learns procedures and then applies them at the right time, even if they are not exactly like their examples. For instance, in a math class, you have a problem, an algebraic problem. In life, you have a problem. In a job, all jobs all the time. In a family, you have a problem. You have to deal with it. Now, could you maybe have learned a procedure on how to handle a problem in your work? Can you be taught how to do something? Yeah, and you can problem solve according to the procedures you've been taught and do what you've been told to do. But the thing is, are all the problems you run into exactly like the examples? Like someone teaching you in a job might show you an example, but what if a different problem comes up and it's not exactly like what they gave you? Don't you have to be able to think of something and apply what you know to the new situation? So you're learning procedures and you're applying them. Now also at the right time. You know, a lot of times in a job you have all these things that you're taught, and then you got to kind of, problem comes your way, you got to think, okay, what procedure do I need to use to solve this? Now I'm talking in a job context. Well, in Algebra 1, the same thing. You have mathematical problems. You've been taught procedures by an instructor. Now you have to apply the right technique because you can't like solve something with the wrong technique. And then you got to be able to handle problems that aren't exactly like your examples. All right, algebra relates to life quite a bit. Now what? Well, as you take algebra, think more about how your brain and problem-solving skills are being developed, as well as your ability to listen to instructions and then apply them under different situations or problems that might come your way in life. All right? So you're developing your brain, your problem-solving skills, okay? Ability to listen to instruction, ability to be instructed and taught how to do something in life, and apply them to different situations. Not just apply them when it's exactly like you've been taught, but apply them when it's a little different. There's a huge application to life in algebra. Maybe the numbers you won't use in your job, the algebraic formulas you won't use, but the problem solving, the thought process of going through an algebra class is highly embedded in many, many jobs, especially jobs that you're going to get with a college degree. Those use your brain even more, and more problem-solving skills are needed. Common question, when will I ever use this? meaning algebra. People always ask me that. And well, the question shouldn't be that. It should be, what type of person might I be if I never took a class like algebra? How good would I be at a job if I was never challenged to problem solve that way, to analyze problems, be taught structures and procedures, and be able to apply them in different techniques in different situations? Do you see how much of a better person you become by taking algebra and the thoughts behind it? The math, the algebra isn't actually as important as, honestly in my mind, as the thought process, the development of the brain along the way. Beauty of algebra, there is a beauty you might not think about. Algebra crosses all language barriers. Remember these set of equations? If I showed these things to anybody in almost any country, and they've taken algebra, they'll recognize them. You don't even need to be able to speak their language. They'll know what this is. They'll have an idea. And you could actually talk about the same thing together to some extent if you could get past the language barriers. But they would all have an idea what these pictures or algebraic expressions and stuff are. Math, algebra, it's a beautiful subject. It could be a little frustrating. It could seem like a whole bunch of random ideas, but it has a beauty to it. I hope you will see it as you finish Algebra 1, just like I have.